Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Believe in Tennessee Football. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Curtison, joined with Reed Bacon. God, we have an amazing episode. We're talking about all the recruiting that's happened over this past week and the huge gets that Tennessee had. But before we get into any of that, y'all, please hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification bell on YouTube. If you're just listening, please rate and review. Please share with friends and family. It helps so much. And follow us on social media at Believe in Tennessee for our main account, at rbacon26 for Reed, at Kyler Curtison for myself. And just really appreciate all that support. But like I said, we're talking about Jalen Smith. We're talking about the Sham God, big offensive lineman. We are talking about Cameron Seldon. We are talking about the king, Chandavian Bradley, and everything that they're going to bring to the table. So an amazing episode. Let's jump into it.
The game. Snap. The kick is in the air, and the kick this time is no, sir, Reed. No, sir, Reed. Final score: Tennessee 20, Florida 17. Pandemonium reigns.
Loads up, fires long for the end zone. The pass is going to be caught by Tennessee. Tennessee wins! Caught by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch in the end zone on the Hail Mary.
Down at the 35, to the 40, to the 45, to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. What did he do? All he did was score. Joey Pence, touchdown on play number 1.
All right. So before we jump into the podcast, shout out our number one sponsor, betonline.ag. If you're wanting to go anywhere to bet, this is the place. It's the number one source for all the best odds, the stats, everything that comes with it. They've got stuff on the NBA playoffs going on. They've got stuff on MLB. They have golf. They have fighting. They have even casino. So everything you could think of, this is the place to go. It's the best place to bet, and it makes everything more exciting when you do it. So hop on over there. When you do go over there, it's super easy to get started. You can use your mobile device, or you can go on their website and use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, when you sign up, and you receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So awesome, free money. So why not use BELIEVE as your little code when you go there? Tell them that we sent you. So head on over. Again, that's BLEAV promo code to get that 50% welcome bonus. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, welcome in, everyone. What an exciting podcast we have today. It has been a huge week in recruiting, and that's all we're talking about today. But first, Reed, how we doing, bud?
Daggone, Kyler, I told you that Josh Heupel's best head coach I ever seen. I tried to tell y'all since he was hired, I said that Danny White knew what the hell he was doing.
That's right.
I said he coached a little offense, he coached a little defense, and that boy can recruit, bud. Yee-hoo!
Who the hell's Billy Napier or Hugh Freeze? We got Josh Heupel.
Hey, for real though, man, we got a lot to talk about. So I can't go in depth on this, but I kid you not. Yesterday, my dad and I were playing golf, and after I saw not only that we got young King, what?
The young king.
Yeah, exactly. And after I saw young King, and I was like, man, that's so awesome. Like, I shouldn't be excited, but I am. And then, like, the fact that then we back it up with Jalen Smith, I'm like, I mean, there was a point I was on 16 out of your Holston, and I was halfway joking, halfway being serious to my dad. I was like, I'm just high on life right now. I said, I'm playing golf with you. I played well. Like, my back wasn't hurting. Heupel's over there, recruiting them. I don't know who's writing the checks, but I appreciate them. And it was great. It was great.
Just high on being involved, baby.
Just high on being involved, man.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, this is a very big week of recruiting. this tampers down all of those 3-star university sayings. And this is exactly what you said last week, where, hey, let's round out this class with one more 5-star, a couple more 4-stars, and the rest can be 3-stars. And we did it in a week. Like, Reed knows how to pick them.
I do my best. I try. Yeah, and the other thing is too is like, it's like there's no reason to get super upset on certain ones, because then we follow them back up with other ones that maybe they're not as highly touted, but they're still really good caliber players. Like I said, I didn't say which 4-star I had to have. I said I just want a couple 4-stars. And the thing that got me so excited is they were all positions that I wanted. They were positions that I felt like the Tennessee Vols really needed.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into these fellas and start talking about them. I say we save Young King for last. So let's start with Cameron Seldon, athlete. Cameron Seldon, the first freaking play on his highlight, immediately all I thought was, this is a man playing with children. Like, he looks like Derrick Henry out there comparatively to other people. He looks like Jalen Hurd when he played for us comparatively to the other people. Like, he just looks so much bigger than everyone else at 6'1", 220. I was just immediately like, a man amongst boys. And he is the guy that there's always a guy in every county throughout the entire United States where everybody goes, shit, we got to play Bryersburg, and they got that one kid. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he is that guy where everybody's like, oh, shit, we got to play Cameron Seldon this week. Blazing speed. He was the fastest guy on the field in every single play that I watched. And I absolutely loved him. Like, trying to give a player comparison, I said Jalen Hurd because he is like bigger back, but he's an athlete. So he could play anywhere. He has plays of, I guess, technically in the Wildcat because, I mean, he didn't throw anything. He's got plays at wideout, ton at running back, and honestly, some good defensive plays too. So I'm so excited to have him. And I want to know what you think position-wise he might play, because I am very much leaning towards running back. Now, Heupel and his offense and everything like that, like, he might want to put him out at wide receiver and just have a big guy because, like I said, he is still fast. He's not like, too slow to play wide receiver is what I'm saying, because there's always a little bit of a speed difference between wide receiver and running back. But he's definitely not – I mean, he's fast enough to play wide receiver for sure.
So the first highlight that I see of him was not the football highlight. It was the one on Twitter that was going around of him running the 100-meter dash. And I actually enjoyed that because you got to see how big he was. Mm-hmm. Like you said, comparing to everyone else. And so, like, he's in his track outfit. The camera's a little bit closer. And it's just like, this is not a typical track athlete, or this isn't a typical 5'11", 165, 175, 180 at the most. Like, this guy looks like a legit problem. Like, besides just a speed, scat back, whatever. So that was my favorite thing I saw. And I'm like, okay.
Bro, if you saw him coming, you wouldn't want to tackle him, Reed.
Okay, stop. I'm fine with tackling whoever's there. Okay, so
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see it. 27.
The sad thing is, Kyler, if he would let me, I'd be like, let's do it. Like, let me try to tackle you. Let's see what's up.
It'd be fun.
I have nothing to worry about getting hurt for. Like,
if you lose, it's like, yeah, you were supposed to lose. But if you win, it's like,
I'm 31 years old. I got back problems. I'm not fast. Like, so it's like,
it'd be great if you put on the shoulder pads and did like we were like in Pee Wee football and just put on your T-shirt over it instead of a jersey. Just had like a Vols T-shirt on over the shoulder pads. I used to remember that. Like that was all you did at Pee Wee. Like you asked your dad for a T-shirt to put over the shoulder pads.
Yeah, or you would just get the football jersey with like the no number. It's like, what kind of swag is this? You know me at like, when I started playing ball, like fifth grade, I was already like, all right, I gotta figure out what number I'm gonna be. Like I gotta do the socks over the shoes for the stat. Like it was.
You don't get that as offensive lineman. I still got an X on my helmet. I can't touch the ball. Like you're just seen as this big fat bugaloo out there just going on the field.
Can we get chicken nuggets after the game?
Yeah. Well, can we go by Sonic? I want a blast.
Gosh, Sonic Blast are incredible, by the way.
Incredible in this 100-degree heat right now.
All right. So couple things. You know how I like to go through these. I like his offer list. I mean, I still think that Tennessee should get him. Virginia's a good state for Tennessee, Virginia and the Carolinas, because South Carolina's like, okay, they're SEC. Beamer's done some decent things. Like you can keep some of those guys at home that are around Columbia, but then like North Carolina, like, okay, you can go to North Carolina but it's ACC ball. And then Virginia, it's like Virginia Tech and Virginia, and like, no offense to anyone, but like, I don't think they're anywhere close to being in Tennessee because of, we have the SEC, we have the pedigree, we have the support, we have the fan base, we have the money. We're just a better football program than they are. Not to say that they're not bad, but like Virginia's one of those places that like in the 90s, we would just go over and take the best players or go to the Carolinas, take the best players. So he's number 2 in Virginia. And he's 24th nationally. Like that's pretty wild. And so, I like to see that. I like his offer list. I mean, good offer list to beat out some of these schools. And, he did have a North Carolina, so that one's pretty close. He had a Virginia Tech, West Virginia, Michigan, Maryland, Penn State. So like, I'm happy. Like I'm happy that we're not seeing this guy, all over ESPN one night when it's a 7:00 game and it's a whiteout at Penn State and it's against Ohio State and they're talking about this kid.
And he scores 3 touchdowns. And it's
being a jack of all trade type deal. So awesome to get him. Like I said, I saw the track highlights and I'm like, this is issues. Like, and I get why he came here to play in an offense, because one thing that I feel like this coaching staff is going to do, which we haven't even talked about yet, Jonathan Eccles, 2024, or did we? Did we talk about him?
No,
we haven't broken him down.
We didn't. He was the first one of that 2024 class. So I mean, we're in 2023 right now. Like we're trying to take care of this.
Right. We haven't gotten.
He can be,
yet, but
it would be great content after next season.
Right. We'll talk about him soon. But I did go ahead and watch his highlights, and I read a little bit about him when he committed, and he said everyone was recruiting him at outside linebacker defense. But our coaching staff said, if you want to play offense, that's fine. So it's like, that's a no-brainer for us. Like, you want to come play tight end? You want some Wildcat? You want to play whatever? Like, come on. Like, you're going to be a feature here. Like, so I like that with Cameron, it's like, you want to try it at slot. You want to try it outside receiver. You want to try it running back. You want to play outside linebacker. Like, we don't care. Like, you can play whatever you want. So, and I don't know, I didn't read up or listen to anything, but I mean, for his position, when you're 6'1", 220 and you get speed, like, pick your poison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and he's not one of these guys. Let me make this clear too. He's not one of these guys that I feel like is kind of average at everything. So he could play multiple positions, but he's not really going to excel at one. I legitimately think that he's going to be a very good player at whatever position that he is, as long as he intelligently can pick up the game and pick up the offense, he's going to be fine wherever he plays, because he's got good size, he's got good balance, speed kills. I mean, I'm doing this thing now where I actually did watch all the highlights beforehand. I'm going to have them replaying so I can kind of live talk. But yeah, he's a really good football player. Like you said, these defensive highlights, man, getting off blocks, shedding blocks, being physical. And then when he touches the ball on offense, it's just game over.
No one's touching him, bro. Well, they are touching him, but he's breaking those tackles. That's why, like, through his highlights, like, I just imagine him as a running back. I mean, he's big technically for a wide receiver. 6'1", 220, like, that's big.
Yeah.
I just don't see him as a receiver, but love him. So glad we picked him up. Let's move.
Hold on real quick. Before we move on, I do just think I have to point out he was the first one that we got to kind of this week or these past couple weeks to kind of start this momentum back. We lost Francis, and it was like, hey, you know what? Let's get this momentum going, and to get him and kind of start that off at a position not necessarily of a need, but to get a blue chip dog like this, like maybe this will be the OW, the offensive weapon that I've been asking for, that the Ohio States, the Bamas, LSU's a couple of years ago, type deal. So
yeah, exactly. Just takes one, and boy, are every other recruit in this class is like hyped for every single one of these guys, which is awesome to see. All right, let's stay on the offensive side of the ball. Let's go to the big dog, the Sham God. I don't even know how to say his name, but
I just, you know me. I saw him. I said Shamurod Corn, and I don't care.
So Shamurod Umarov, I guess.
Yeah, it's
close enough. 6'6", 337. Let me tell you something, Reed. I don't want to get into it, but the technique of him is what excites me the most.
Okay. I'm excited to hear this because I might have a small little poo-poo about something that I was a little bit bummed about. But anyways, continue.
Okay. So with offensive linemen, I've said this before, it's like the things that I need you to have, like I can teach you technique later, but like nastiness, effort, athleticism, be able to stay on your feet, balance, that kind of stuff. He has all that. I think there are times where he is too high, which being 6'6" can sometimes happen. But dude, there was little things throughout his film that only like offensive linemen or offensive line coaches would pick up on that he's doing correctly. His ability to work in double teams with a guy next to him. There's linemen that will fall on their face anytime they try and do a double team, and he's able to work with the guy next to him. What were you about to say?
I don't want to cut you off. Just finish. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So like working with double teams is great. His weight distribution in his feet is great. For those watching at home, if my hand is your foot and my forearm is your leg, you want your weight on your instep of your foot. You don't want it on the outside. If your weight is ever on the outside of your foot, it will roll and you will fall. So you have to put your weight on the inside arch of your foot. He does that. He does that in pass pro. He does it in run blocking. And that's exactly what you do as an offensive lineman. His eyes are really well too. The way he is able to pick up stuff with his eyes, his pass pro was great. Like of certain offensive linemen I've watched, he showed me more stuff in his film of his pass pro. His ability to punch off a guy, shed him over to his guard, and then back up and receive the looper. It's like great. Just like having good eyes and adjusting when that happens to you. There's times where like he's using his body exactly the way he should. He's not trying to torque a defensive player and like muscle him back away from the ball. He literally just dips his shoulder and runs. So he cuts him off from getting to the ball carrier, which guys don't do. They try and do that muscle thing. And then a good linebacker or a good defensive lineman will get off that easily. They'll dip underneath your arm and rip, and either you get a holding call or they get past you, and he's just able to dip that shoulder and rip himself and cut those guys off. I mean, hit quick feet on pass pro. There wasn't long steps either. It was all choppy, quick feet. I love it. Like, I love the fact that he has that technique already as a high school guy. And I know that's what, Coach Elarbee saw, was like, oh, I don't have to do much. There's just a little bit of tweaks here and there, and we can make him dangerous. So I'm very excited.
Okay. That's probably one of the, that might be the best offensive line breakdown you've given. I guess
yes,
maybe
I would say so, because usually when I see the offensive lineman, there's not technique involved. Like, it's very much just like, you're bigger than everybody else on the field, so you throw them around, and it's a lot of single blocks when it's a lot of holding in offensive line film. This wasn't like that. He put double team blocks on. He put like literally defensive line running games. He put like him switching games off on his film, working up the next level. Like, I was very much like, oh, okay. Like, he's actually showing me stuff here.
So I would say honestly, this is the best offensive line prospect that how you've talked about them since Addison Nichols. And I don't, did you have any negatives really towards Addison? I can't really remember.
No, not really. I mean, I can't remember exactly. Who knows? I might have said that sometimes he gets over his toes, but I don't remember much. And I mean, I didn't have anything negative to say about Francis either. I'm not saying that like this guy's head and heels above Francis, but in Francis's film, he's just bodying dudes. Like, it doesn't matter what technique he has. He's just messing people up. So there's an advantage there. Like, when you're Trey Smith, you don't need much technique. You just blow people up. So,
yeah. Well, okay. So before I jump in, like you said, I mean, 6'6", 340, you see him on his pictures and Twitter and stuff, like, he already looks like he could step in and play physically size-wise.
And I want to say, he doesn't look to 340.
No, he looks great. He looks like he's 290. Yes. Yeah. No, he looks great. Like, so there's so many things about this. Just give me a minute. You know how my brain works. But first off, he looks the part, which is great. He looks like, hey, we don't need to shed some weight off of him. Hey, we don't need to put any weight on him. Like, we know how hard it is to come in and play right away. But like, to have an Addison Nichols last year and to have a sham boy, Shammy Crack Corn and I Don't Care coming in, and then having those guys kind of a year apart, to hopefully build a good offensive line for the future for Nico and whoever else is playing. So I love that. The offer list, it's great. Like, he's a Georgia kid. He has a Georgia offer. How hard did they recruit him? I don't know, but they had him on a visit and he had pictures with them. And so to beat out Georgia, to be at LSU, I know he took a visit to Michigan State. You got Auburn on there. I mean, you got all the big dogs on here, and Florida State. I mean, the kid pretty much could basically go wherever he wants. So I love that. I also like the fact that, it's a good win for Tennessee on the recruiting battle to get a Georgia kid like that. Now,
especially after losing out on Francis too, it's good to get an offensive lineman.
Agreed. And so that was going to be my final point on him, is like, we needed another blue chip offensive lineman. Now, would I have liked to have Francis and him? Well, yeah, but only that's because I just love offensive linemen. Give me as many as I can take. And instead of being top 5 nationally, we'd probably be number 3 or 2. But the one thing that I was so excited to talk to you about was this, because I started watching this film. And usually the first things that you see on a high school offensive lineman film is like you said, people just get average and they stab and then throw him down. Or it's a run play and they drive him, Michael Orr blindside style to the whatever. And listen, we love dog. We love some dog. We love some nasty. But I thought about, like, we got some dogs and some nasty, but sometimes too much of that can go against you. If you are too aggressive, sometimes it can go against you because you got a Javonte Spraggins and you got a Cade Mays or whatever, and they want to blow off the ball and pound you so hard that in a pass play, if they step forward, rip, see ya, and and they're in someone's in Hendon's lap. So it's almost like you have to know when to be physical. You know when you have to kind of play smart. Mm-hmm. And I loved everything you said. Like, I loved his balance. Like, I loved how he moved. I loved his eyes. He honestly just looks like an all-pro. Like I'm saying, compared to his competition level, it's like watching an all-pro in the NFL. Like, he does everything right. He does everything well. You know you can count on him, all that stuff. The only thing, and this is what I interrupted you about, is I was like, why is he showing double teams? Like, the competition of these defensive linemen, some of them look like my size, like 220 pounds. And I'm like, why are they doubling? Now, I get it. I get they're doubling because of whatever the play scheme is. And he does a good job from doubling and then getting up top, or he'll be the second guy to double and he'll clean someone out. So it's not his fault, but it was just weird to see a 4-star blue chip. And I'm like, he's doubling a lot of these guys on his first one. But it's great to hear you say, I love to see that, compared to me wanting to see him fire off and absolutely just decapitate someone, which, like I said, I know I sound like a contradiction. I want to see that blow off dog and kill someone in the run game. But I love his patience in the pass game. So I don't want to get those confused. But anyways, I'm happy to hear you say that it's like, I want to see a double team combo. Yeah.
Cause they're, I mean, you're double teaming a lot more than you think you would as an offensive lineman. Tackles don't as much. Sometimes you are on your own, but if you're backside of a zone play, you have to double team, most likely with the guard. Like, if you're front side of a gap scheme, you got to double team with the guard. So, like, that is an important part of it, is like how you integrate yourself into a double team. Like, that was a big coaching point when I played, because guys struggled on backside double teams trying to cut off a 3 technique, or front side double teams trying to like push that guy down and work up to linebacker. Like, it was an issue. Like, you have to do that correctly, because if you have any kind of bad technique, you turn the wrong way, you're messing up 2 blocks in essence. Yeah. You're messing up your guard's block on the defensive lineman and your block on the linebacker. So it's good to like know that, hey, I can work well in a double team with someone and get a dump, but also I can work well with them and then get off to the linebacker. So I enjoyed the fact that he did put that on there. I think offensive linemen would enjoy that as well. I think maybe someone help this guy out. Like, he's got an O-line coach, or he's got somebody maybe in his family that played before that was like, here's some plays you should put on there.
His pass pro is some of the best pass pro I've seen. Like, it's a joke, man. Like, I kid you not. I was talking about looking like an all pro. I mean, I swear I feel like I'm just watching like Joe Thomas film from back in the day. Yeah. Like, he just looks like he just looks like he's just a mechanic, man. He's just doing his due. Like, it's bop, simple. You're not getting there. It just looks very easy for him. Yeah.
My comparison, RIP, was Aaron Douglas. Like, that's the kind of comparison I saw. Like, Aaron was so athletic and big. He was huge. He was 6'6", just like this guy, and so athletic and smooth and could move like that. Like, that was what I thought of when I saw him. I'm like, yeah, that's the kind of player that he is. Right. But love Sham God.
Love
coming to Tennessee.
Huge get, especially after losing out on Francis. But let's move to the defensive side of the ball. We have a linebacker, blue chip linebacker, Jalen Smith, coming in, 6 foot, 213. First thing I noticed on his film is this man is fast. He is fast. And that it's closing speed, bro. It's not sprinter speed. It's not 100-meter speed. It's football speed.
It's football speed. He can't go the fastest of everyone, but he can get from 0 to 100 quicker than anybody else on the field. That's what he looks like. When he shoots his gun, it's over. He blows by offensive linemen. They don't even see him. And I don't think I saw a false step out of him, out of his linebacker position, which is awesome to see. Like, he's not stepping backwards to go forwards. There's no wasted steps. And his angles are great too. When anything that gets outside of the tackle box, his angles are so great. And he will run sideways straight towards the sideline and then just stick his foot and make a turn and beeline right towards the runner. So impressive. I thought his eyes were great, which coincides with that. It's like you got to have good eyes to pick your point to actually go towards the runner. Open space tackling was awesome too. He had a play just like literally wide open space with someone and was able to break down, stop him. It was a quarterback, like a mobile quarterback. He spun the other way. He broke down, went back, cut him off, and made a tackle. And dude, no one could stop. He has like a couple plays on there where he's a quarterback spy. It's like game over. It's game over.
It was hilarious. It was
like there's literally nothing the offense can do. They have no idea what to do with him. What I did want to see, which I'm sure coaches have seen in camp, they've probably seen him in 7-on-7 stuff, but there's no coverage plays on his highlight tape. There's nothing where he's legit following a running back out of the backfield, covering a tight end, that kind of stuff. So I do want to see that. I still love him and the athleticism that he has and the speed that he has and his tackling ability. He's a great tackler, but I do want to see that part of his game. And I'll be excited if, this upcoming season he puts out some more highlights. We get to see some coverage skills out of him, or, maybe he goes to these camps this summer, all the All-American, the openings, the 7-on-7, whatever those things are, and we get to actually see it. But I love his athleticism.
So I'm so happy. I was so happy to see them land him. And the first thing I see, I don't watch the film beforehand unless if I wait to see if we're going to get somebody or not.
Yeah.
But the first thing I see, kind of like I saw Cameron run. I saw on Twitter him running the 100-meter dash. The other thing that I see on Twitter about Jalen is the tackles that like the state tackle record was 112 held by some 5-star that was down in Georgia a couple years back. And Jalen comes out and beats it, but he doesn't just beat it. He had like 170 something tackles, like an absolute tackle machine. So I'm like that right there. I was like, all right, like I'm excited to watch his film. Like I'm excited to see this. And just like I'm gonna look his name up because I already forgot.
I would say 50% of his tackles are for loss.
Yeah, and they're tackles for loss. They're solo. He's not going. I remember back in high school, it was hilarious getting the prep extra like on a Saturday and looking at the tackle leaders and stuff. And there was some kid from like some random, like kind of out like in the boonies, some school. And it was like every week it was like 17, 20, 25. And then you would see like solos and assists. And it was like solos would be like 7 or 8. And then the assisted would be like 15. It's like, all right, first off, is your dad or your uncle up in the press box, like just giving you all these? Like, what's the deal here? Like, give me a break.
Are you just legit just jumping on a pile every play?
Right, exactly. Like, let me see some real stuff here. And but it's the same thing with. So I was looking up Jeremiah. So it's the same thing with Jeremiah. When they see it, they go. But like you said, I thought it was perfect what you said with Jalen, that there's no wasted steps. He sees it and he goes. And I maybe have seen other linebackers that are just faster individuals.
Yeah.
But he has to be at the top of the list, 1 or 2 or 1A, 1B of that. His closing speed is a joke.
It's crazy.
Like, I mean, it's like it honestly made me think about when you play Madden, and if you ever play Madden or NCAA, and like a guy's running to the edge and you press X and they do like the double like clutch like glitch, Superman glitch, and it's like the Superman tackle because they like dive out there and like trip somebody up.
Yeah.
And so it's like that's what I felt like he had. Like he had a glitch that like he saw it and he just closed so fast. It was like, what the just happened? Like it's like he just teleported there. So that, I mean, it was fun to watch that. Like you said, the QB spies were insane. He literally just stood up. He sat there.
He wasn't even. There was one he was standing straight up, dude.
He just stood straight up, kind of on his toes a little bit, and then right when he saw it, I mean, those guys had zero chance, zero, like none.
Zero.
Like there was nothing that they were going to do to get rid of him. He brings the pop. He uses his hands pretty well against blocks. He sheds blocks pretty well. You know, like, I mean, just I just thought it was a really fun film to watch. I got it going here again. You know, like you said, in space, he makes good tackles in space. Like it's like when he gets not only to break a tackle, but like when he even gets you in this orbit, when he gets you like in this 3 to 4 or 5 yards. And I'm actually going to say some of this same stuff about our last prospect, Young King. When we talk about him here, they kind of had that same vibe that when you got in their atmosphere, their halo, you're done because of their speed, their length, their athleticism. I mean, my favorite one right there is him running the line of scrimmage and that quarterback's running in the back of the end zone trying to like get out. And there's just no chance when he decides.
There's no chance. This is a safety, bud.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, actually, I think that honestly, this might be Sham God's team. They might have played each other. I think it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, because he played at Denmark High School, same jerseys. Actually, Sham just got beat on the backside there. That's okay though. We won't worry about that. But anyway,
Jalen's over there cooking up Sham.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was not Jalen. It was, and listen, it was Sham. Sham was the backside tackle on a rollout play to the absolute right. So this guy just went way around him. There was nothing that was his fault. But yeah, I love this film, man. This feels awesome to get him. You know, you beat out. I mean, he had 40 something offers. You know, he had a Texas offer, was another big one up there. USC, Oregon, Miami, LSU, you know, lots of offers. I would have loved to have seen a Bama offer or Georgia offer, but that's okay because I see his production and I see him playing ball, and I'm really excited to get him into the University of Tennessee. Yeah,
I love it. I like his athleticism is just out of this world, like you said. And
but he's not. But the Kyler. Let me say this too. Massive compliment to him. He's not an athlete playing linebacker. Like he's a linebacker who's an athlete. Like he has those natural. He's not just a guy who is a freak athlete. So it's like, oh well, he's big and fast and strong, so he should be a pretty good linebacker. No, like he sees it, he reads it. Like he takes good angles. He makes good tackles. He brings the wood when he comes. Like he's just a very, very good football player.
Yeah, and he's a great size too. 6 foot 213. It's like, bro, 6 foot 225. Like that's a good linebacker right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But without any ado, saving the best for last, we got the young king, the big dog, the big 5-star Chandavian Bradley, baby. Defensive end, 6'4", 220.
Whoa, where are you seeing 6'4"? Where'd you get that list? I thought he was 6'6".
I saw like 6'4" to 6'5", so I always go a little bit lower because I was 6'5" in high school and I've never gotten past 6'4".
Oh god.
I'm right on the dot, 6'0", 4'0", and never been 6'5" in my life, but I was for 3 years at Knoxville Catholic. So I'm put 6'4". Hey, if he's 6'6", fantastic. More frame to put weight on because he's only 220. But the length made me think Darrell Taylor, but Darrell had nowhere close to the speed. Nowhere close.
DT wasn't 6'4". He was like 6'2".
He was maybe 6'3". I think he was about the same height as me, but his arms, his limbs were very, very long, like Bradley's are. That's what I was saying. In the way that I said Cameron was the fastest guy on the field, Jadavion's the fastest guy on the field when he's playing at defensive end. He is faster than everyone out there. The chase down tackle he had from the backside was the most impressive thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, my favorite play.
Literally my favorite play. Quarterback realizes it's man coverage. All the wide receivers are going the other way, so he just takes off, comes down the sideline. He's backside defensive end and takes an angle and literally just hawks this man down. So impressive. So long, this man, he'll bat any ball. Like, he loves batting some balls down. He loves jumping up and blocking those balls. Like, his ability in coverage, there was a one where they had two out routes. One was a little bit deeper than the other, and he was covering both of them, which I thought was impressive too. Like, he was far enough back to where when the quarterback threw it, he tipped the ball up. He was close enough to, if he dumped it to the running back, he could make a tackle. So that's just impressive in and of himself. And as much as to the best word I could describe his like defensive end technique and like how he moves is slippery. Like, that man works off the speed and then just tries to like skinny through places, slip through places, and it works for him. It really, like, his get off, most tackles can't even touch him by the time he gets around him and gets to the quarterback. And like you said earlier, when you're in his radius, you're going to get tackled. Like, it might not be a big hit, but as soon as he gets a hand on you, he's not letting go. He's just going to sling you around and throw you. And I think this guy has probably a pretty big radius with those long-ass arms he's got.
Man, huge to get him. Another shout out to Twitter. I think I'm shouting out Twitter a bunch because I was on the golf course when some of these were going down. And to see that we have him and Caleb Herring. And so we got two of the top 10 edge rushers, which all I care about, man, I'll say it every podcast. We got our quarterback at Nico. You got to get guys to protect him, and you got to get guys to get after the other quarterback. And
dude, just imagine 3rd and 11 in Neyland versus Florida, and you got Caleb and Chandavian on either side. It's like, hell yeah, baby. That feels like the Kurt Derek Barnett days when they were on either side.
Go ahead and throw our man Jalen in there at QB spy and think someone's getting rid of him. Yeah,
good luck.
No offense to Jeremy Banks or to Aaron Beasley or Solon Page or Jawan Mitchell. And it's not fair to really throw Jawan Mitchell in there because he didn't play, but some of those games where they just got exposed in the open field against like Matt Corral or some of these other guys, like, bro, I don't see that happening with these three guys, man. I think they're too fast. They're too good athletes. They're too good on their feet. Their balance is good. They're overextended. But I mean, like we said a long time ago, and it's not even select programs now. It's basically all of college football except for the Big Ten for a few Big Ten schools. But like, you're going to win games 42-45, and like you said, Nayland's going to be rocking, and we got to get a stop on 4th down. And so I don't care if you gave up 450 yards. I just need Young King. I just need Caleb. I just need somebody to get back there and get a strip sack and end the game.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it really is, back in Peyton's heyday, you just got Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney, and all they got to do is get you one stop, and then you can't catch up.
Yeah, Peyton will take care of the rest. And it's like the same thing. Like, I remember us playing South Carolina in 2012 in South Carolina, and they couldn't really stop our offense. Like, we were doing very well. Our defense wasn't doing that great. They were scoring, and we literally got in the red zone with a chance to score and put us up, like, I think 3 or 4 points. And then Jadeveon Clowney said, okay, I'm ready to finish the game. and just strip sack, just laid Tyler Bray out, made him fumble. They recovered the ball. Like it was just he had like 2 or 3 tackles like the whole rest of that game before that. So it wasn't like anything was, jumping off the screen, He was just like, okay, time to make a play, and did it. And that's what, that's what I want out of Chandavian. It's just like, all right, time to make a play.
Just absolutely smoked Tiny Richardson off the edge. Like it was a clown show. So to kind of break down some of the stuff that I've seen on film, like I said, I gave it away already, but you get in his radius, it's over. He's really good using his length. I'll say this. I mean, for him and Jalen, I would be, and it's just not fair to say this because they're in high school. They really don't need to, but like I'm going to be excited to see how their hands and how they actually use their hands and stuff. Cause now they kind of just run by people, or they'll engage, like they'll actually hit somebody and engage compared to when they're coming off and they see big 77 there and they just extend and get around. And they'll learn that. They don't need that right now. But I mean, it's one of my favorite plays I've seen. Like the fact that this kid is a 5-star and has everywhere in the country and that wants him and could go anywhere. And the fact that he has the want to chase it down, on that. I'm watching it right now, the out route, and he leaves the corner in the dust. His safety, he's faster than their corner and their safety on his own team, and just to chase the guy down. And he has a couple of them on here. I think he had the other one that you're talking about with the quarterback. Like, I love that. Like, yeah. Like one day I'll coach high school ball and go back and do that. It's something I would really enjoy and love. And like when I have a kid that does that, I'm just gonna go up and hug him and just be like, man, like you're why I do this. You're why I love this game. Like, to give that effort, there's a certain passion in defense. Like it's not over till it's over. If you got a blade of grass to defend it. And so I love that. And then to come back and to talk about his length and his size, but they're but then they're on the 1 yard line. They're on the goal line here. And what does he do? He pulls a Jadeveon Clowney type play where he steps inside. The tackle can't get there quick enough. He's not the same caliber athlete. Yeah. And he gets there and blows it up in the backfield. And it's like, that's the shit that I love to see. So not only is he a good edge rusher, but he's got the motor. He'll play physical. Like he'll do it all. And so I love that. But yeah, his closing speed, his radius, it's just, he's a special player for sure. So I just hope that he can come in, get his weight going, work on his hands and really mature and pan out the way we hope he could be. And it's embarrassing, man, when an offense does the read option and you're supposed to choose wrong, but he's so good and so gifted that
he looks like he's tackled both of them.
He did. Like he literally just gets back there and sits, and the quarterback's like, what do I do here? Because he's just so big and so long, he's taking up everything, and the quarterback ends up holding it to try to get rid. And it's a dead play. It's just special to see some people like that. So I'll say this, like this group of film and these group of players. These four. I mean, it's insane all their films are great. They're all really good players. Like, I guess that's why we're number 1 in the SEC and number 5 nationally. But, to get him, I guess the number 1 player in Missouri, the number 5 edge guy and the number 36 prospect in the entire nation, to get him over South Carolina, to get him over, the paying boys at Texas A&M. He's got Florida State, LSU, Miami, Michigan State, Notre Dame, who's number 1 right now, Penn State, USC. Like, this is a great, great victory for Tennessee. Now, the last thing I'm going to say is I've loved watching all these guys. I'm excited about every single one of these guys. There's not one that I was a little bit nervous about, and especially for Sham after I heard you talk about the double team. Yeah. But if we can just keep these guys, man, we just got to come out. And you know what? I'm confident. Like last year, I was thinking about it. Last year at this time, I was excited and optimistic but I was just excited because it's new. It's like it was a Christmas present. And so I'm like, I get to open it up and see what it is. So that's why I was excited. And I was pretty optimistic that I was like, for me, I said we'd go 6-6 and win the bowl game and go 7 wins. So, I'll call it and say it. Like I made a lot of wrong guesses, but I was right on Butch, and I called it his first year, last game of the year. But I told you, first quarter in Pitt, I texted you, I said, bro, we got to coach. Now, I didn't know he's going to have the number 5 recruiting class in the nation at a certain point, but I knew at least with him, we were going to compete on game days. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, to see him also have this part, I'm not nervous going into season saying we just can't lay a big egg and lose some of these guys. You got to continue recruiting them. But if we lose them, I don't think it's going to be because of how we play this year. So last year I was optimistic and kind of excited because it was a Christmas present. This year I've already opened the present, and it's it's a new Xbox. And so now I'm excited to play it, and I can't wait because I think I don't have to worry about on the field. When's the last time I've ever said I feel very confident that we're going to beat Florida, and I think it's going to be a rout by at least 10 or 17.
Yeah. That hadn't been long since that.
I don't know if I've ever felt that way in my life, honestly.
No, because, even when we were good, early 2000s, late
Florida
90s,
was very good.
Florida was very good.
Right.
But yeah, I literally think unless we go 5-7, these guys aren't going to be jumping ship. You know what I mean? Right. I even if we do lose to rivals and have maybe an 8-win regular season, that doesn't mean that they're going to be this isn't going to work. They would still stay on. So, right. And like you said, I have a lot of confidence in this team to be possibly undefeated going into Alabama.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
I'll never forget it. I don't know if it coaches here one more year and gets another job somewhere else, or he coaches here another 20 years, but I will never forget. And Scott Altizer says, "Hey coach, this is Kyler Kerberson, offensive lineman for us. He's a really good player. I want you to meet him. He's here for practice." And Coach Hype goes, "What's up, Kyler?" And sticks his hand out and he says, "Man, you're looking good." He goes, you offensive linemen start slimming down. And y'all look good. He goes, "I need to get on that." And he pat his belly and he looks and before you could say anything, you dapped him up and he goes, "Man, we're going to be all right." He goes, "I got to get some dudes in here, but we're going to be all right." And he said that. And it's well, he's getting his dudes. So we're going to be all right.
That's right.
That was exactly how the conversation went. It was, dang, you offensive linemen slimming up, looking good. I need to start doing that. And then about that time, he daps you up and he goes, "We're going to be all right." And, so it's just cool to hear him say that, but that he's actually going through with it. He's getting the dudes.
Exactly. For people who possibly thought this guy wasn't a recruiter, it was top of his list of importance. So Josh Heupel killing the recruiting trail. Love every single second of it. Great pod. Appreciate all of you guys watching and listening. If you are on YouTube, please hit that notification bell, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, leave a question. Tell us if you think we're dumb, if you think we're funny. We enjoy every single one of them. Love people talking shit on Reed, him touching his hair. Love the comparisons. Apparently I look like Aaron Rodgers while Reed looks like Dale Earnhardt Jr. I've also seen Elaine Kiffin in there for Reed, which I don't know if I necessarily believe, but it's very fun. If you're listening, please rate and review. Leave us 5 stars. It helps so much. Download those episodes. That also helps. And y'all, please share with other people. Show them what we got going on. Other UT fans will want to hear this stuff too. So please share as much as you can. It really helps. If you want to follow us on social media, at Believe in Tennessee on Twitter for our main account, at rbacon26 for Reed, at Kyler Kerberson for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's all the same for me. And just really appreciate you guys. You're the best. You're the reason why this thing keeps kicking off. So as always, go Vols.